Hello, Game of Thrones fans. Welcome back to the top 5 questions we wanted answered in the Season 7 finale. No fluff, let's get started. Number 5. What is Cersei going to do? I know, this episode is basically a medieval Mexican standoff, and I put this all the way at the bottom of the list. The reason's pretty simple, though. With so much going on with dragons, ice dragons, and zombie ice dragons, the Mad Queen does pretty much deserve to be at the bottom of most people's minds. We know for a fact she wants to kill both Dany and Jon at this meeting, but will she go through with it? And more importantly, will it work? Spoiler warning, it won't work, or we will all have such a case of blue balls that the ice zombies will get freezer burn. Number 4, Twincest Part 2, The Reckoning. What is it with Game of Thrones and incest? Honestly, blink 3 times and you'd think George R.R. had a hard-on for the family cat. But what a good portion of people are desperate to know is if our 2 protagonists of the series are gonna bump uglies. For Jon to put his ice in Dany's fire. For he who knows nothing to put a little something in the Queen's warm dragon. Sex. They want them to have sex. PP, VV, birds, bees, etc., etc. This is pretty much inevitable with the way the show has fast-tracked their love story, but if my last theory was correct, it plays right into the crescendo of Dany feeling betrayed after Jon's true parentage is revealed. Even though most would love to see the power couple rule Westeros together, and
the Targaryens
wed brother and sister for hundreds of years, I know.
I don't think the bittersweet ending George R.R. promised us includes our 2 favorite heroes ruling the world together. But in the show, the main reasons is Jon being a Stark and carrying the traditions of the North. His lords would probably abandon him for doing such a thing. The second is that people will ultimately reveal the truth about Jon is his brother and his best friends, making it look like a scheme and a conspiracy to gain power. Number 3. A girl is truly no one. With so many beloved characters placed in a central conflict together, it soaks up a lot of attention and screen time, but the 3rd most popular character according to IMDb isn't headed to King's Landing to discuss. The Walkers. She's in Winterfell, being badass and investigating what she thinks is a conspiracy by her sister to commit treason against Jon. Either way, either Littlefinger's playing her or she's playing him. And with Bran there to provide replay reviews, it's entirely possible Littlefinger has found out one way or another. Which leads to number 2. Next on the headsman's axe. I don't think anyone expects this episode to roll through without a casualty or 2, especially with so many people who hate each other in such close proximity. Valonqar theory is at the forefront, with Queen of Crazy Cersei Lannister looking primed for a dramatic main character death. You have Jon, who's probably not going to be too happy seeing the woman who had her father, brother, and stepmother killed. Then there is the ever-anticipated, desperately wanted, and eternally teased Clegane Bowl, which is entirely possible as the Hound and Zombie Mountain will be at the same place at the same time. And even though it's a little premature, Cersei does have all that wildfire in King's Landing. So in the words of the Mad King, burn them all! One most anticipated question we need answered in this season finale: are Grey Worm and Missandei like an actual thing now, or what? No. What is Bran? I know, stay with me. Bran is one of the most boring characters with some of the most boring scenes next to Sam and Gilly. But hear me out, because Bran is the key to how this entire War for the Dawn plays out. With theories ranging from him being the Night King to him being Azor Ahai, Bran being R'hllor, or the Great Other, Bran is going to be the Deus Ex Machina of this entire war, with his powers so vague but exceedingly powerful. His transformation from Brandon Stark into what's vaguely defined as the Three-Eyed Raven is so quick, it's difficult to believe he isn't the most important person in this war. While it's going to be Dany or Jon who fights the war, Bran has the much more difficult and important task of filling in plot holes this season's created. With their army nearly limitless for a long time, why is the Night King descending from the land of always winter now? It coincides with a few things: Bran's visions, Dany's dragons, and multiple wars. Why did the Night King target Viserion with his one-hit KO OP bullshit spear, when Drogon, who's bigger and carrying multiple enemies, is stationary? Bran is the answer to all of this because of how his powers work. TLDR, there's two types of time travel, the Back to the Future kind, where your actions create a new timeline with new changes, and the Harry Potter kind, where no matter what you do, the result will be the same because the actions you think are changing the timeline were actually the reason for the original result. Circular logic for the win. Bran's powers land him squarely in the latter, as we see in the heartbreaking Hold the Door scene of last season. Bran wargs into Hodor in the past, causing a seizure that made Hodor the way he is in the present. Then that Hodor will grow up to presumably carry Bran of his timeline to the Three-Eyed Raven for the next Hold the Door scene, and the past to be altered again in a never-ending spiral from hell. And that is it for the top 5 questions we want answered in the season finale. Got any questions you think are more important? Drop them in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you guys want answered. Now it's time for me to go watch it since I released this video way too late. Thanks for watching. See you next time.